Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so yeah, there's been a lot of freaking out going on in the Battlefield community recently due to the recent news, and that's very understandable, but I was very interested to see the comment sections on two of my recent videos. A lot of people are already just calling the next Battlefield off. In fact, they're not only calling the next Battlefield off, they're already stating that the next game is totally doomed and they're going the wrong direction and they're doing a bunch of wrong things, and I'm here to discuss that today. Is the next Battlefield already doomed? Does it have any chance of succeeding with the things that have already been essentially confirmed for it? And that's what we're going to discuss. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you are interested in hearing about Battlefield 2042 Season 7, we should be hearing some news about that in the next coming days, so definitely turn notifications on for that. Season 7 is the first new season in, drumroll please, 5 months, ladies and gentlemen. My God. And what a long and arduous 5 months it has been. But that's beside the point. We need to talk about the next Battlefield here. So I'm going to do a quick recap for people that maybe aren't familiar with the recent news. Marcus Leto, who was a lead working on the next Battlefield game, he was specifically working on the single-player campaign, he decided, hey, this was cool, but I'm going to leave EA. So a few days after Marcus Leto left, which was already a potentially massive hit for the next Battlefield, EA shut down Ridgeline Games, which it was the studio Marcus Leto was leading. And that actually caught Marcus Leto off guard because Marcus Leto then tweeted that it was a gut punch to him to see EA sack everyone that was working under him. So the studio lead himself, even though he left, didn't expect EA to take that sort of action. And on top of that, which is already huge news, Tom Henderson put out an article essentially confirming that the, quote, new Battlefield experience that is being worked on by one of the studios is going to be a battle royale for the next Battlefield game. This, of course, sounded many alarms in the community. The fact of the matter is, the Battlefield community, at least the core player base that is still remaining, and perhaps the quote-unquote core player base that hasn't played 2042 and is just sort of watching the news, they reacted, of course, very vehemently against the addition of another Battle Royale. They say it's not Battlefield. They say it's going to take resources away from multiplayer. They say it's just not what Battlefield needs right now. And yes, they could definitely, potentially be correct about that. Maybe Battlefield doesn't need a Battle Royale right now, but in my opinion, a Battle Royale is absolutely one of those things where if it's successful, it would probably catapult Battlefield to a level of popularity that we haven't seen since the peak of Battlefield 1. So with all of that considered, who are these people that are essentially claiming the next game is doomed already? I think a lot of Battlefield players are just extremely disgruntled, and rightfully so. But I also think a lot of Battlefield players, and I think the Battlefield community in a larger, bigger picture, is one of the communities that jumps to massive extremes at the slightest sign of, a suspect move from DICE, or the slightest sign of something they don't like, and they immediately jump to, oh, the game is over, the game is dead, everything is ruined, a meteor's gonna hit the fucking Earth, and we're all gonna explode, oh my god, it's over. And I think that sort of reaction and that sort of mindset heavily deters a lot of people in the Battlefield community from taking in all of the information. Need I remind you, in that very same Tom Henderson article that he essentially confirms a Battle Royale in, Tom Henderson also states that the next Battlefield is going to be returning to its roots. You can return to the roots of Battlefield and make a Battle Royale at the same time. So I don't necessarily think the franchise is doomed just because they're adding a extremely popular mode from other franchises and trying to put it in Battlefield even after Hazard Zone and Firestorm have failed. So let's take a step back and let's look at the bigger picture here and what really needs to happen for the next Battlefield to even be like half decent. I think we can all agree that the Battle Royale is not the main focus of the next Battlefield game. I think the main focus is obviously still the multiplayer, and the Battle Royale would be another aspect, another option of how to play Battlefield. It's just another game mode, guys. If what they are saying is true, and they actually successfully take the correct direction with going back to the basics with the next Battlefield, like Tom Henderson suggests, going back to 64 players, going back to destruction, having better maps, etc., I think if they focus on that and apply that to the multiplayer correctly, The next Battlefield game is easily not only going to be better than Battlefield 2042, it's going to be easily better than Battlefield 5. So I think the people that are claiming the next Battlefield is already doomed maybe are sort of caught up in the wrong things and aren't taking a step back. Now, I'm in no way, shape, or form stating that DICE has retained their competency, all right? They haven't. They have to prove to us as a community that they can actually make a well-rounded Battlefield experience, because let's be honest, they haven't done that since Battlefield 1, and even in Battlefield 1, there were considerable delays with getting content out. But thanks to Premium, they couldn't just cancel Battlefield 1 halfway through it like they did with Battlefield 5's live service. They had to deliver the content, even if they had to delay it for like 3 years. So it all goes back to this. It all goes back to whether or not DICE can execute. That has always been the thing in question. Always. And it will always forever be the thing in question with DICE moving forward because of games like Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 2042. DICE can take a very safe direction with the next Battlefield game, and it would be successful because it's safe. Because safe doesn't necessarily mean boring, it just means kind of what we want at this point. I think a lot of people would be very, very surprised to see a Battlefield game release that's, let's say, set in Cold War, returning to, basic Battlefield mechanics with the things that people just expect Battlefield games to have. Server browser, squad management on launch, scoreboard, class system, right? All this stuff. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think even in Battlefield 2042, DICE has proven that they understand what to do in certain situations. They have made more correct decisions in the second half of Battlefield 2042 than even I anticipated they would do. That isn't to say that they were hard decisions to make. No, adding a class system was extremely obvious, reworking the gunplay to reduce engagement ranges was extremely obvious, and reworking the UI and adding a scoreboard was again extremely obvious, and I don't even give them any credit for it. But the mere fact that they're even making those decisions means that they can make those same decisions while they're making the next Battlefield game, so they don't have to make them when the game is already released. You would already release a Battlefield game with all the things that we expect. With the extra year of developing time, if DICE can't even so much as copy their own homework, I'm actually going to lose my mind. Because, let's face it, the next Battlefield release is kind of easy. It's a really free, easy, simple release. All you have to do is just play it safe, and then listen to what your community has been screaming at you even during 2042, and just make some of the same decisions. But with more content, better execution, and a lot more things at launch, okay? And with the extra year of development time, there's seriously no excuse anymore. So with all things considered, I would certainly not say the next Battlefield is already doomed just because they're adding a battle royale, or because the single player had some sort of massive mix-up. I would actually say that the next Battlefield game, theoretically, is one of the easiest releases ever for DICE, even though it has massive stakes. The theoretical, design of the next game and what they have to actually do to make people happy is not hard. It is so simple to deliver what the Battlefield community wants, because all they have to do is essentially copy their own homework with previous Battlefield titles and stop making unbelievably stupid gameplay decisions like adding specialists, like 128 players, like completely overpowered and poorly designed vehicles, and I'm sure the list could go on and on and on. So that's my opinion. I don't think the next Battlefield game is already doomed, but let's just say that I think we'll all be very tentatively watching the next Battlefield unfold. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you guys that do that. Join the Discord, and I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. All links you're going to need are in the description. And again, Season 7 news, I will be covering that, so turn on notifications. I expect the news to be, I don't know, maybe this week or next week. Hopefully, they give us both Season 7 maps at the same time. However, I predict they will drip feed us, and we will only get one Season 7 map at the beginning, and then the second Season 7 map at sort of the middle period. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my incoherent rambling, and I'm going to see you guys tomorrow.